The girl in the wreckage of the night was quiet on the edge of the desert planet. Caro 7. Cold winds moved slowly across the dry land. In the distance, something large had crashed from the sky. A spaceship broken into pieces, still smoking. The ground was black and cracked around it. Eli, an old human man with a long gray beard, walked toward the crash. He wore a thick coat and old boots. He lived alone, far from the cities. People called him strange. He didn't care. He liked quiet. He liked fixing broken things. That night, he came to collect metal from the wreck. But something felt different. This time, it was too quiet. He walked carefully through the metal pieces. His flashlight showed broken wires, strange alien signs, and pieces of tech he didn't understand. It looked like a military ship, but not human. Then he heard it. A soft, weak sound. Like a whimper. Like a child crying. Eli froze. He looked. Around? Was it an animal? A voice. He followed the sound to a small broken chamber in the ship. Something moved under a metal panel. He pushed the panel aside and saw her. A small creature, not human. Thin arms, glowing pale skin, and wide. Silver eyes filled with fear. She looked no older than 6. Her face was dirty, her lips dry. She was shaking. Eli's eyes widened. What the hell? She didn't speak. She only stared at him, too scared to move. Eli looked around. There were no signs of others, no survivors. Just her. He knelt slowly and held out a hand. Hey, I won't hurt you. She flinched, then looked into his eyes. Can you walk? He asked gently. She tried to move, but her legs gave out. She collapsed. All right, he whispered. He took off his coat and wrapped her in it. She was cold. Too cold? He looked around once more, then picked her up carefully. She was light, too light. She hadn't eaten in days, maybe more. Carrying her in his arms, Eli walked back to his small rover. He placed her inside, gave her a sip of water from his bottle. She drank slowly, like she hadn't tasted water in a long time. Eli looked at her. What happened to you, kid? She didn't answer. Closed her eyes and leaned. Against his arm, back at Eli's home, a small hut built from scrap and solar panels, he laid her on a soft bed. He made soup, but she didn't eat much. Still, she looked at him with eyes that seemed older than her years. Eyes that had seen too much. Eli sat nearby, watching her. He had found strange things in the desert before. Robots, weapons, even an old AI core, but never a living creature. Never a child. Never. Someone like her. He wondered if he should report it, but something inside told him no. Whoever shot down that ship wasn't friendly. And whoever they were, they might come back for her. He looked at her again. She was now asleep, breathing slowly, holding his old coat like a blanket. She's just a kid, he said to himself. An alien kid, yeah, but still just a kid. The next morning, the girl opened her eyes. She sat up slowly, looking around the room. Eli came in with a bowl of food. You hungry? He asked. She nodded very slightly. He handed her the bowl. She ate one small spoon at a time. What's your name? He asked. No answer. He pointed at himself. I'm Eli. She looked at him, then pointed at her chest and whispered, Luma. Luma, he repeated. That's a pretty name. For the first time, she smiled. Just a little, that night. As Luma slept again, Eli sat outside, looking at the stars. He smoked a small pipe, thinking, she's different, he said to himself. And someone's gonna come looking for her. Maybe people who hurt her, maybe worse. He looked back at the house where Luma slept peacefully for the first time in who knows how long. I can't let them find her. He stood, a new look. In his eyes, not fear, Not confusion, but purpose. Asterisk, darkness, cold screams in the air. Luma ran through a burning hallway. The lights above her blinked red. Doors were broken. Smoke filled her lungs. She was so small, so scared. She looked back. A tall alien woman was shouting something. Then a bright flash. In silence, Luma woke up. She was breathing fast. Her small hands shaking. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. The dream felt real. It was real. A memory. But the woman in the dream, her face was already fading from Luma's mind. Eli stood at the door, watching. He had heard her cry out in her sleep. This was the third night in a row. She has nightmares, he thought. Whatever happened to her, it wasn't just a crash. He walked in with a gentle knock. "Hey, it's okay," he said. "You're safe here." Luma looked at him. Her silver eyes were wet, but she didn't cry. She never cried. She just looked. Sad. Days passed. Luma started to walk around the house more. She followed Eli like a quiet shadow. She didn't talk much, but she listened. Eli noticed something strange. Machines in his workshop started acting different when she was near. A broken radio crackled back to life. A dead light turned on when she touched it. A toy robot moved even. Without batteries, at first, Eli thought it was just luck. Then he saw it. One evening, Luma sat in front of an old fan. It was rusted, broken for years. She placed her hand on it, and it spun. Not just spun. It glowed blue. Eli's mouth fell open. "What are you?" Luma turned to him. "Not bad," she whispered. "What?" She pointed at herself. "I'm not bad." Eli knelt beside her. No, I didn't mean it like that. You're not bad. I just don't understand." Luma looked down. "They called me Weapon." Eli froze. "Who did?" She shook her head. "I don't know their names, but they wore black suits. They took us. I ran." Eli felt a chill in his spine. This was bigger than just an alien crash. That night, Eli powered up a scanner from the wrecked ship. He had repaired it using Luma's strange touch. Inside, he found something small, a glowing crystal hidden in the wreckage. He connected it to his old computer. A hologram appeared. It showed a peaceful alien city, floating in the sky. Children playing, families walking, all with glowing skin like Luma. Then, black ships came. They fired lasers. Buildings fell. People ran. A message appeared in alien symbols. Luma saw it. She walked over and touched the screen. The message changed into soft English words. "Last child of Ellerin. Protect her. She carries the spark." Eli stared. Spark. Luma touched her chest. "It's inside me," she said. Eli stood up slowly. "You're not just some alien girl. You're the last of your kind." Luma nodded. They were scared. Of us. We could fix things, heal things, make machines better. They called it magic, but it's not. It's just part of us. The next day, Eli heard something outside. He stepped out and saw a strange floating drone, black and round, scanning the area. It moved slowly over the desert ground. He froze. "Damn it," he whispered. He rushed back inside. "Luma, we have to hide." She didn't argue. She followed him quickly. He opened a secret panel on the floor and hid her inside, covered it with metal sheets and blankets. The drone moved closer. Eli walked outside and pretended to be busy fixing a broken engine. The drone stopped above him. A red light scanned his face. Identify human, no threat. Then it moved on. Eli waited and waited until it vanished in the sky. He rushed back inside and opened the panel. Luma looked up. "They're looking for me?" she said. Eli nodded. Yeah, and we can't stay here much longer. That night, Luma sat beside a model spaceship in the workshop. It was old, dusty, and broken. She placed her hands on it. It floated, not just floated, it fixed itself in the air. Panels clicked into place. Lights blinked on. Eli watched with wide eyes. Luma smiled. "You see," she said softly, "I can help." Eli stared at her, and for the first time, he didn't feel fear or confusion. He felt hope. Far above the planet Caro 7, a dark ship floated in silent orbit. Inside the ship, a tall man in black armor stood before a glowing screen. His face was pale, his eyes cold. His name was Commander Varn, a hunter of missing alien experiments. The screen showed an image, Eli's workshop. A faint blue light could be seen through the window. "Luma. She's alive," Varn said quietly. After all this time, a second voice, robotic and deep, replied, "Orders, sir? Find her." No mistakes this time. Back on the surface, Eli was working on the old ship in his hangar. He had decided they had to leave soon. Luma was not safe anymore. Inside the house, Luma sat beside the window. Drawing on an old tablet Eli had given her, she drew stars. A planet. A city in the clouds. Then, her hand stopped. She felt something. A presence. Like a shadow crawling across her mind. She looked up. Someone was coming. That evening, a knock came at the door. Eli froze. No one ever visited this far out. He grabbed his old laser pistol and opened the door slowly. A man stood there. He wore a brown cloak and smiled politely. "Evening, friend," the man said. "I'm looking for some old tech parts. Heard you were the best scrap man in this area." Eli didn't lower the pistol. "Who told you that?" The man chuckled. "Ah, just a rumor. May I come in?" Eli looked into the man's eyes. Something was wrong, but he forced a smile. "Sure, come in." Luma watched from behind a wall. She saw the man and felt cold. He wasn't like Eli. He wasn't like anyone she knew. He was pretending. The man looked around the house slowly, his eyes scanning everything. "Nice place," he said. "Old, but strong. You live alone?" Eli nodded. "Just me. No family, no kids." Eli shook his head. "No kids." The man smiled again. But his eyes said, "Liar," as Eli pretended to show the man parts and tools. Luma quietly moved into the workshop. She placed her hand on the panel of the broken ship. A soft hum began. Blue light returned. The ship was waking up. Back inside, the man's face changed. He turned quickly. "You activated the core." "What?" Eli asked. "I can feel it. The spark." Eli drew his pistol. The man moved fast. Too fast. He knocked the weapon from Eli's hand and pushed him against the wall. "You think you can hide her from me?" he hissed. His eyes glowed red for a second. "Not human. You're one of them." Eli gasped. "You're hunting her." Man smiled. "She's not a child. She's a weapon. And she belongs to us." Then a bright flash. The wall behind them exploded in light. Luma stood there, her eyes glowing, machines floating around her. "No," she said quietly. "I don't belong to you." The man lunged toward her. Luma didn't move, but the machines did. Tools flew through the air. Engines roared. Wires wrapped around the man's arms and legs, pulling him down. He screamed as energy surged through his body. Eli grabbed his weapon and fired once. The man dropped, stunned, smoking, breathing hard. Eli turned to Luma. She looked scared. "I didn't want to hurt him," she said softly. "I know," Eli replied, "but you saved me." They tied the man up and placed him in the hangar. He was the first. Eli said, "More will come." Luma nodded. They're watching from the sky. Eli stared at the stars. Then we need to leave this planet tomorrow. That night, Luma sat beside the old ship. It was now glowing with soft light. The pieces she had touched were repairing themselves. The ship was almost ready. She whispered to it. In her language, it responded with a hum, like it understood her above the planet. Commander Vaughn watched the tracking signal go dark. He turned to his team. "She's awake now," he said. "She's starting to remember." He smiled darkly. "This time, we end it." Asterisk, it remembered her. The ship, broken and cold for weeks, had once carried thousands of voices. Songs of a golden city. Laughter of children. Orders from generals. But now, the voices were gone. Only one voice remained. Luma, her touch, had brought back its memory. Her presence had woken it from death. She was the spark, and the ship would protect her inside the dusty hangar. Luma stood quietly in front of the half-repaired alien ship. Its surface pulsed with soft blue light, like a heartbeat. She placed her hand on the hull. Whispers moved through her mind, not in words, but in feelings. Warmth, protection, sadness, and deep loneliness. The ship was alive, not fully, but partly, and it remembered her people, her family. Her real name was not Luma. That was the name Eli gave her. Her real name had no sound. It was light and feeling. But she liked Luma. It felt safe. Eli walked into the hangar carrying a toolbox. "Repairs are going fast," he said. "Too fast." Luma didn't answer. Her eyes were closed. She was connected. Eli set down the tools. "Are you okay?" She opened her eyes slowly. "The ship knows me." Eli raised an eyebrow. "You mean like it remembers you?" Luma nodded. "It's part of me. All our ships were made that way. Not with machines only, with life." Eli sat beside her. "Your people really were something." Luma's eyes lowered. "They're gone now." Eli looked at her gently. "Not all gone. You're still here." Later that day, Eli powered up the crystal memory again, this time with Luma's help. New images appeared. A huge glowing tree. Floating cities, creatures made of light. And then, destruction. Not by aliens, not by machines, but by humans. Eli stared in shock. "No, we did this." Luma nodded slowly. "Your people were scared of us. We didn't fight. We ran. They chased us across the stars. I was sent away to hide." Eli turned away, guilt on his face. Luma touched his hand. "You are not like them," she said softly. That night, the captured spy woke up in the corner of the hangar, still tied. He looked at Luma, eyes full of fear and hate. "You think you're safe with him?" he hissed. "He's one of them. His kind killed your people, burned your worlds. Don't trust him." Luma stepped forward. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She simply looked into the man's eyes. And something strange happened. He froze. His mouth stopped. Moving, his eyes went wide. Eli watched in shock. "What are you doing?" "I'm showing him what I remember," she said calmly. "I'm letting him feel it." The spy began to tremble. Then sob. Moments later, he passed out. Luma looked at her hands. "I didn't know I could do that." Eli stood slowly. That wasn't just technology. That was power. Luma looked at him. "I'm changing," she whispered. Over the next few days, the ship came back to life fully. The engines worked. The guidance systems lit up. The doors opened when Luma came near. But something else changed too. Luma began to hear things, not voices, but signals. Old messages from her people. Buried deep in the stars. "I'm hearing a call," she told Eli one night. "A beacon. It's weak." But I think someone like me is still out there. Eli looked at the sky. Then maybe it's time we find them. As they prepared to launch, Eli opened a dusty chest. Inside was an old pilot uniform from his military. Dazed, he looked at it for a moment, then put it on. Luma giggled. "You look funny, yeah." Eli grinned. "Well, I used to be a hero once." "You still are." Eli smiled, heart heavy and full. Above the planet, more dark ships were coming. Commander Varn stood on the bridge of his vessel. "They've activated the ancient craft," his officer reported. Varn smiled. "Let them fly. Let them run. She will. Come to us. And when she does," he touched a scar on his neck, "I'll finish what we started." Back on Caro 7, the ship's engines roared for the first time in weeks. Dust flew. Lights flashed. Eli and Luma sat inside. Side by side, "You ready?" Eli asked. Luma nodded. "No more hiding." And the ship lifted into the stars. The stars watched silently. They had seen many things. Worlds born and burned. Empires rise and fall. Quiet love. Loud war. But now, the stars saw something different. A small ship. Running. Inside it, an old human, and the last child of a lost race. The stars remembered her kind. Bright ones. Healers. Makers of peace. Now she was all that remained, and she was being hunted. The alien ship flew fast across open space. Its blue light shimmered like a comet. Inside, Luma sat in the co-pilot seat, eyes glowing gently. Her hands floated above the controls, not touching, yet guiding. Eli held the main flight stick. He looked tired, but focused. 2 jumps ahead of them, he muttered. "Let's hope it's enough." Luma turned to him. "They're getting closer." "How do you know?" "I can feel them. Far behind, in the shadow of a dead moon." Commander Varn's ship appeared. Varn stood at the front of the bridge, staring at the long energy trail the alien ship had left. "She's moving fast," said his officer. "She's learning fast," Varn corrected. "She's becoming who she was meant to be." The officer hesitated. "Should we destroy the ship if we catch them?" Varn turned sharply. "No, she must be taken alive. But why? She's just a child." Varn's voice grew cold. "She's not a child. She's a weapon built by peace. And peace is the most dangerous weapon of all." Back on the alien ship, Eli checked the radar. "Damn, they've locked on." Luma stood. "We can't fight them." "No," Eli agreed. "But we can outsmart them." He turned the ship toward a gravity storm, a swirling cloud of electric light, magnetic fields, and twisted space. Luma stared. "That's dangerous." "Yeah?" Eli said. "But so are we." He smiled. She smiled back, and they flew straight in. Inside the storm, the ship shook. Lights flickered. Sparks flew. But Luma stayed calm. Her hands moved gently. And the energy around them began to soften. "It's listening to me," she whispered. Eli looked around. "You're controlling the storm." "No, I'm asking it not to hurt us." And somehow, it worked. Behind them, Varn's ship entered the edge of the storm and was immediately hit by massive waves of radiation. The crew screamed. Varn shouted, "Stabilize. Follow her." But the storm didn't listen to him. Inside the comm center of the storm, Luma and Eli floated in silence. Eli looked at her. "You did it." Luma closed her eyes. "No, we did it." Then her face changed. "I saw something." Eli leaned forward. "A place. Far from here. A signal. It's calling me. Another beacon." She nodded. "Maybe someone. Like me, or something left behind." Eli checked the star map. The place she described wasn't on any known charts. He stared at her. "Are you sure?" Luma nodded. I don't want to run forever. I want to find who I am. Eli sighed. All right, then, let's go. They jumped out of the storm and into clear space. But they weren't alone. 3 small hunter ships waited for them, sleek. Black, fast. Eli shouted, "Hang on." Lasers fired. The ship shook. Shields at 20%, Luma said. We don't have weapons strong enough. Luma looked at the controls. Her eyes lit up. I can try something. She placed her hand on the ship's heart. The light inside her glowed brighter. The ship responded suddenly. A wave of blue energy burst out, not to destroy, but to disarm. The enemy ships blinked, powered down, and floated helpless in space. Eli stared. You just shut them down. Luma's nose bled. Her head dropped. Too much. He caught her. Easy, kid. You saved us. She smiled weakly. I'm not just running anymore. Far away, Varn. Watched it all through satellite feed. He slammed his fist on the console. She's stronger than we thought. Then he smiled. But she's not ready yet. Back on the ship, Eli patched her up and laid her to rest in the sleeping pod. He whispered, You're doing more than survive now, Luma. You're fighting back. He looked at the glowing stars ahead. Let's find your home, whatever it takes. And the ship flew on. Asterisk to the last child of Ellerin. If you are hearing this, we are gone. The voice was soft, warm, and filled with sorrow. It echoed through the ship's control room. The message had come from the beacon. Luma had found a signal hidden inside a star. We did not die in war. We were silenced by fear. Not fear of violence, but fear of peace. Luma stood still, listening. Eli stood beside her, silent. The message continued. They feared what we could heal. They feared what we could stop, so they hunted the peacemakers. You, little one, carry the last spark. The message ended. The screen faded to black. No sound. Just silence. They had landed on a hidden planet, shrouded in golden mist, orbiting a dying red star. There were no cities here, only ruins. Large trees made of crystal, broken towers that hummed when touched, and carved stones that sang. It was a graveyard of beauty. Luma walked between the ruins like she had been there before. Her fingers brushed stone, and colors bloomed beneath her touch. Eli followed, rifle on his back, scanning for trouble. But there was none. Only peace. This place, he whispered, feels alive. Luma turned. It remembers. They reached the center of the ruins, a circle of standing stones. One of them began to glow. Luma stepped forward. Suddenly, the light rose around her, wrapping her in a soft field of gold. Then she saw everything. Memory, children laughing, hands healing. Wounded soil, floating machines singing with light, and then fire. Ships in the sky, human voices shouting. A choice made by her people. We will not fight. And for that, they were destroyed. She fell to her knees. Tears ran down her face. Eli rushed forward. Luma, what happened? I saw them, she whispered. All of them. They didn't want war. They just wanted to help. And humans killed them for it. Eli lowered his head. I'm sorry, it wasn't you, she said. But I need to know. Why? That night, around a small fire, Eli told his truth. When I was young, he began, I was a soldier. I followed orders. We were told. Your people were too powerful. That you could end war, but not follow our rules. That you would change everything, governments, weapons, control. He paused. So they called you dangerous. Not because of what you did, but because of what you could stop. Luma looked at him. That's why they hunted us. Yes, he said. Peace scared them more than war. The next day, in the ruins, they found a seed, glowing, floating above a stone. Luma touched it. The seed melted into her hand, not burning, not painful, just warm. "It's the last source," she said, "of my people's power. They left it for me." Eli stared. "What will you do with it?" She looked at the stars. "I'll finish what they started." But peace would not come so easily. In the distance, the sky cracked open. Varn's ship arrived. Dark, sharp, silent, it floated above the ruins like a shadow covering light. Inside, Varn stepped forward. At last, he said, "You found." He turned to his crew. "Prepare the landing pods. We take her alive. The seed, too." Luma felt it before the alarms, before the scans. "They're here." Eli grabbed his rifle. "Then we make our stand." Luma shook her head. "No." "What?" "I'm not going to fight them with weapons." She stepped into the ruins. The stones around her lit up. "I'll show them the truth." Above the planet, Varn descended with his team. His boots hit the ancient soil, but the ground glowed under him. He looked around, and suddenly, memories rushed into his mind. Peace, kindness, laughter, hope. He dropped to his knees, shaking. "No, stop this." But Luma was not attacking. She was sharing. Her mind reached every soldier, every weapon, every pilot, showing them what her people really were. Not destroyers, not rulers, healers, and slowly. The guns lowered. Eli watched from the edge of the ruins, eyes wide. "You're doing it," he whispered. "You're stopping them without a single shot." Varn stood up, eyes filled with tears and fury. "You think this changes anything?" he shouted. "You think peace will survive?" Luma walked toward him. "It already has." And the stones behind her glowed brighter than the stars. Earth listened for the first time in decades. It listened to signals from the stars, to images leaked by frightened soldiers, to voices that echoed not through radios, but through minds. People everywhere saw her, a glowing child, standing in ruins, not to destroy, but to forgive. Some cried, some trembled, some, in power, panicked. But all of Earth saw her now, and nothing would ever be the same again, above the ancient planet. Commander Varn's ship floated, weapons powered down. His army stood silent, dazed by the visions Luma had shared. But Varn remained hard. He paced the deck, fists clenched. "She's rewriting them," he growled, "turning soldiers into followers." His officer whispered, "They aren't following, sir. They're remembering what it means to feel." Varn turned, rage in his voice. "Then burn the planet. If I can't have her, no one will." Down on the surface, Luma stood in the circle of glowing stones. The seed inside her chest pulsed with light, not dangerous, not violent, but strong. Eli stood beside her. "Varn's going to strike," he said. "He'd rather destroy you." "Then let peace win." Luma nodded slowly. "I know." Eli tightened his grip on the rifle. "Then we'll fight." She looked up at him. "No, not this time." He stared at her. "You're not giving up." "I'm giving them a choice. Back." In space, missiles launched from Varn's ship, bright and deadly. They moved fast. But before they hit the planet, they stopped. Frozen in the air, machines shut down, not by force, but by understanding. Luma's message had reached the ship's AI. Even the machines were listening. Varn screamed. "Launch manual override." Fire. Nothing obeyed him now. His own ship systems were rejecting hate. He looked at the screen and saw her, Luma, looking straight at him. From the planet below, he whispered, "What are you?" And then, in his mind, her voice replied, "Hope." The glowing ruins lit up. Beams of light rose into the sky. One by one, the enemy ships powered down and drifted. Some turned and left. Others stayed. No longer enemies, just witnesses. On Earth, world leaders argued on screens. She's dangerous. She's just a child. She has no army, no weapons, but she stopped one of ours without a fight. And in the middle of it all, something changed. People marched. Peace banners waved. All because of a little girl in the stars, on the planet. Eli and Luma stood beneath the golden sky. The stones whispered goodbye. Their power was fading. Their duty done. You've awakened what was lost, said a voice, not from a speaker, but from the very ground. You are no longer the last. You are the first of what's next. Luma looked up at Eli. Where do we go now? He smiled. Anywhere you want? And so, they flew. Not to hide, not to run, but to share the spark. To visit planets where war still ruled. To heal machines and minds, to remind the galaxy that peace, real peace, is not weakness. It is the strongest force there is. Some call her alien, some call her angel, but to one old man, she's just my girl.